Hi there, Carrie here. Um, some of you probably wouldn't have noticed, but I've been really tired for a while now. Not tired like I'm doing too much, because I'm a manifesting generator, and so I have a kind of seemingly unlimited amount of energy. But it just really has been bugging me kind of under the surface, like, why am I tired? Because back in the 1990s, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I was told that I would never report again. And well, obviously, that wasn't true. And I decided at some point to not believe that. Of course, it took me 8 years to decide to not believe that, and a wonderful bunch of coincidences that told me I needed to be back into reporting. And then I jumped back in full force. But in that 8 years, I did learn a lot about my body, about diet, exercise, water, my thoughts. I wasn't in the learning place that I jumped into in 2017, but it was all an evolution, and I was learning things about how to, for any of you who've suffered from chronic fatigue or from fibromyalgia, that there's a lot of studies being done now as far as where's that stuff come from, and that it can go into remission. I don't even think of myself as in remission. I think of myself as I don't have it. But when I'm not paying attention to what I'm eating, how much water I'm drinking, how much rest I'm getting, how much stress I'm allowing myself to be exposed to, I do notice from time to time, especially in humid climates, that I will have a flare up. And had I not gone through 8 years of knowing what fibromyalgia feels like for me, I it would be easy to ignore until the symptom gets so bad that it stops you in your tracks again. I wasn't going to let that happen. So I don't feel like what I'm experiencing is a flare up from that, but I jumped on a biofeedback session this morning for me, and it's something that I had been doing regularly up until about right before I went to Cancun in December. So there's this big chunk of time where I wasn't doing biofeedback. And it's hard for me to describe what it is. I need the technician and the specialist to actually explain to you what's happening. But basically, it's even at a distance, remotely, it's able to analyze my energetic signature, and the stuff that it tells that she's telling me, which she should not know, is kind of mind blowing. And so this morning, we were looking at my numbers, which were significantly lower than what they were last time we met. And so one of the things that it has been coming to the surface constantly is that I'm dehydrated, that I'm not drinking enough water, but I am. And so really trying to, this is why it's so important to work with somebody, because you can be doing all the things. I mean, this, I'm not just talking about health and biofeedback, but I'm talking about life and steno and everything. You could be doing everything that you know you need to do, but if you're not doing it in a way that gets you the best benefit, is it really worth your time doing it? Because here's what I learned this morning is that the water that I'm ingesting needs to be have enough electrolytical connection that it actually is able to work in my body optimally. The water, we're 70% water. The water in our system is the thing that kind of connects everything else together. And that if we're dehydrated, or if we're drinking a lot of water, but it doesn't have the minerals and the electromagnetic properties that live water has, then it's not going to give me the same benefits. Now, that's not my only problem. I'm coming up with an electromagnetic signature that is not good. It was, all things in the 3D have a vibrational signature to them. And we were talking about fabrics and clothing and bed sheets, and the fact that if you can be in the presence of natural fibers, it's going to help you and your energetic vibrational level rise up. And I kind of know that, but hearing it from somebody who really knows what they're talking about kind of blew my mind, because polyester and man-made fabrics, which are really cheap to get right now, are basically at the same energetic signature as a human body that is dead. Not good. And part of what I realized is not just the water, is that the clothes I'm wearing, the fabrics that I surround myself in are basically kind of, it's like being in a polyester Faraday cage. That my electronic emissions, which should be in a toroidal force around, I disappear in the water, around my body, in an ever-ending beautiful flow, are not. They're like being contained within my body, and there's the flow is not happening. So there's the flow from water, there's the flow from electricity. We started talking about, how much protein I should be eating. How does she know that? From looking at from just, I don't know. I can't explain the technology. I just know that when I do it on a regular basis, I feel better. I am thinking more clearly. I'm operating more smoothly. I'm allowing all those things to happen, and it just blows my mind. And then she reminded me of some things that I had shared with her after speaking with someone. I did a consultation with someone in Hawaii, and they basically told me that one of the things I really need to do is to build up my energetic field every morning. Like, what the hell does that mean? Well, if you're in Reiki, you understand that you can do a Reiki energy session on yourself, and you should every morning. It is the thing that puts you in stasis. It puts you in that homeostatic place of being able to operate emotionally, mentally, physically, at your best. And for those of you who are interested, get a hold of Bryn McAllister, because she's currently doing a Reiki 1 entry level training, and it was phenomenal. It really opened up. It made me understand a lot of things about our emotions and our energy. It was a kickstart to helping me start using that stuff for me, instead of kind of being at the whim of it, not understanding it. So building up your energetic field every morning. When I was talking to my person this morning, she mentioned, wow, what is that? My voice. She mentioned that, when Dr. Joe is talking about, he does meditation every morning, and that he does not leave his meditative practice in the morning until he's at the highest vibration he can get at. And in other words, like a good feeling state of being, because it's going to set you up for your whole day. It's going to set you up energetically, mentally, emotionally, completely for what you're going to go forward and experience in the day, which is why I suggest doing, I've got a 7-minute meditation, which is basically just setting your intentions for the day. Because if you can do nothing else, if you can just set your intentions first thing, it's kind of like giving you a roadmap for where you would like the day to go. Kind of that constant reminder of it happening first thing in the morning of, I want calm, I want peace, I want flow, I want ease, I want to be in my own personal power, respecting, loving, and honoring me. So building up my energetic field every morning. Okay, that's something we're going to start working on more intently. But something came up that kind of blew my mind. because we're talking about meditation all the time. And, I still don't completely understand, why is it powerful? Why is it so painful? Why do we have to do it? How often do we have to do it? How much do we have to do it? How should we be doing it? Because last night I was watching a video that had nothing to do with anything, and all of a sudden they mentioned meditation. And they said, there's two kinds of meditation. There's inactive meditation and there's active meditation. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Inactive meditation is you going inside, total silence, being with you, the true you, that is not your body, not your mind, not any of the things we think we are on this 3D plane, the real you, just being in silence to connect with that source of energy within you. That's inactive. So what is active meditation? Well, I think of it as guided meditation, as all the stuff, Dr. Joe and all the other things you'll see out there. The stuff that I do is actually considered active meditation. It's also considered hypnosis, but if it works, use it. It's all the same thing. You're accessing a different state, a different brain wave for you to get certain results that you want to do it deliberately. If you don't, then you are at, again, the whim of the programs that are underlying and running in the background. And if you don't know what they are, if you don't even know that they're there, then you're at their mercy and you are not in control. You don't have the power that belongs to you. And awareness and knowledge will give you that power. So we were talking about meditation and how when you're in a state of meditation, I'm looking at my notes, you are breathing slowly. You're taking in deep breaths and slowing the rhythm and the frequency of the breathing down. Now, I've always been taught that tricks your mind into thinking, your brain into thinking that you're safe. Because when you're in fight or flight, you're breathing really shallow, up high in your lungs, and you're breathing very quickly because your body is preparing to fight or flee the situation. You need that extra oxygen fast to be able to make a fast escape or to be able to defend yourself, to fight. And so you're breathing slowly, deeply, has a lot of physiological effects without you doing anything, which is why everybody says, do deep breathing. Breathing will help you not be anxious. It's true. Just makes no sense to the logical mind, because it is looking for that part of your critical factor is looking for fear, and it's looking for problems, because its job is to keep you safe. Its job is to keep you alive on the planet one more day. And that is one of the big ways it does it. Here's what she shared with me. And I all of a sudden it clicked together. She said, when you're thinking, whenever you're thinking, you're using your critical brain and your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. I'm thinking steno, because think about it. When you're thinking, and the thinking part of your mind is looking for fear, and it's looking for problems to keep you safe. That's its job. But if it's busy looking for those things, it wants to be ready to fight or flee. So it's up anytime you're thinking, you're in a shallow breathing pattern. You're in a shallow breathing pattern, you're already setting yourself up for anxiety, for stress, for feeling like there's something wrong and you've got to take care of it. But the biggest problem with steno, with reporting, is that we find ourselves in situations where we are committed to report the job, and yet we're having feelings of anxiety and stress and pressure, but we can't fight and we can't flee. We are in that moment at the mercy of our sympathetic nervous system. And so the number one tool you have is to breathe, is to deliberately overcome your breath and to breathe deeply and slowly. And your breath is the element that connects your critical factor, your chattery brain, with your subconscious, with your heart center. It is the conduit between the two. For manifesting, that is the only way. When you're breathing, it's you're sending out your signal of what you want with your mental faculty, and then you're opening your heart and being in a receptive moment, in a receptive mode, to be able to receive what it is that you're wanting to happen and manifest in your life. Fascinating stuff. So whenever you're thinking, you're breathing shallow and fast. Watch just during the day when you're reporting or when you're practicing, see if that's not the case. And when you catch it, just deliberately, not in any kind of rhythm, breathe in a little bit slower and exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. And that's really all you have to do. It will trick your brain into thinking you're safe, which you are. This is millions of years of evolution that has wanted to physiologically prime us to be safe on the planet. It never expected court reporting. It never expected the world we live in today. And a million years from now, our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems may operate differently. But for today, this is what we have to deal with. So go drink some water, go move your body, go be around live water, and take care of yourself. Breathe deeply. Enjoy it. There's no such thing as bad breath. No breath. That's bad. Love you guys. Take care.